Walk into any rail yard west of the Mississippi today. Every locomotive you see is painted the same yellow, same gray trucks, same red shield. Stand there long enough and you would swear Union Pacific built America by themselves. That is exactly what they want you to think. The railroads that actually built the West are gone. The names, the heralds, the paint schemes that men spent 40-year careers under. All of it wiped clean, painted over, boxed up and forgotten. 6 different companies erased in a span of 14 years. 14 years. And by the time anyone noticed what was missing, the men who could tell you about it were already retired. This is the story of how Union Pacific turned the Western Railroad map into one big yellow blanket. Before we get into it, hit subscribe and let us know in the comments which fallen flag railroad you remember. Start with Missouri Pacific. December 22, 1982. The merger gets approved by the courts. Missouri Pacific had been around since 1851, chartered in St. Louis when half of Texas was still cattle country. They had a paint scheme so distinctive railfans gave it a nickname, Jenks Blue, named after Downing Jenks, the CEO who introduced it in 1962. Dark eagle blue with a white accent stripe, buzzsaw logo on the side, screaming eagle on the nose. Beautiful piece of work. Union Pacific took control January 1, 1983. They waited 18 months and then they sent painters from Missouri Pacific's North Little Rock shop to Nebraska to learn how to apply Armour Yellow. 1,445 locomotives. That was the count. Every single one repainted into Union Pacific colors with little MP letters on the side. A test scheme even. Solid yellow with black underframe, MP initials. They were experimenting on the corpse before it was even cold. December 8, 1985. Union Pacific made it official. The Missouri Pacific name, the buzzsaw, the screaming eagle, all gone. Off every locomotive, off every freight car. Erased. The same year Union Pacific grabbed Missouri Pacific, it grabbed Western Pacific. The Western Pacific had carved a route through the Feather River Canyon back in 1909, 927 miles, 41 steel bridges, 44 tunnels. The Katy Y, that famous Y-shaped junction hanging off the side of a mountain. Western Pacific ran the California Zephyr along that route for decades. The Feather River route was a love letter from one generation of railroaders to the next. It cost them years of cost overruns and dead men to build it. Unstable rock, slides, remote canyon work in 1908 with hand tools. By December 1983, every Western Pacific locomotive Union Pacific planned to keep was wearing yellow paint. The first one out of the shop was GP40 number 3532. Painted in March 1983. 8 months later, it got renumbered as Union Pacific 680. The name on the side meant nothing anymore. 80 years of operating history, gone in 9 months. Then came the Katy, Missouri, Kansas, Texas. Founded in 1865 with charter ink barely dry from Appomattox. It was the first railroad to enter Texas from the north. Their slogan was the Katy Flyer. Red boxcars ran from Kansas City all the way to Galveston, across 6 Midwestern states, 3,377 miles of track. Union Pacific swallowed the whole thing on August 12, 1988. Then Chicago and Northwestern, April 25, 1995. Union Pacific bought the rest of the shares it did not already own. The Chicago and Northwestern wore apple green and English Stagecoach yellow. The 400, that legendary Twin Cities streamliner, ran 400 miles in 400 minutes. The Granger Railroad of the Heartland. Effective at 12:01 a.m. Central Time on Sunday, October 1, 1995, the Chicago and Northwestern Railway Company was absorbed into the Union Pacific Railroad. That is how the notice read. 12:01 a.m. on a Sunday. The big one came next. September 11, 1996. Union Pacific paid $5.4 billion for the Southern Pacific. SP had been the spine of California since 1865. The Black Widow paint scheme on the freight units, the daylight orange and red on the passenger fleet, the bloody nose on the later diesels, the mammoth Sacramento Shops, 200 acres of buildings, 3,000 employees on the books, 7,000 during the war. They designed and built locomotives there from scratch, boiler shops where you could hear the rivet guns from a mile away, real engineers with real soot under their fingernails, carpenters, draftsmen, boilermakers, electricians, clerks, upholsterers, the largest single employer in Sacramento for over 100 years. UP closed the Sacramento Shops in December 1999. The last contractors moved out to Rocklin. The building sat empty. Most got demolished. The Southern Pacific became a memory inside 3 years. The California State Railroad Museum sent volunteers to interview the last 20 workers before they walked out the gate. 20 people. To document what 3,000 had built. That same merger swallowed the Denver and Rio Grande Western, the Scenic Line of the world, founded by General William Jackson Palmer in 1870, the narrow gauge through the Rockies, the Royal Gorge, the Tennessee Pass Route completed in 1890 at 10,000 feet elevation. One Colorado magazine called September 11, 1996, a day that shall be remembered in railroad annals of infamy. They were not exaggerating. The last freight ran over Tennessee Pass on August 23, 1997, mothballed, track still there today, nothing on it. Now here is where this gets interesting, because Union Pacific knew what they had done. In 2005 and 2006, they paid an outside agency real money to design 6 new paint schemes. 6 EMDSD-70 ACE locomotives, each one numbered for the year Union Pacific absorbed a predecessor. 82 for Missouri Pacific, 83 for Western Pacific, 88 for the Katy, 89 for Rio Grande, 95 for Chicago and Northwestern, 96 for Southern Pacific. They called it the Heritage Fleet. 6 locomotives to make up for erasing 6 railroads off the map. And here is the kicker. The paint schemes weren't even authentic. Read the railroad press from the time. The liveries were inspired by the originals. Not exact, inspired. Union Pacific hired an agency to make up paint schemes the predecessor railroads had never actually worn, slapped them on 6 new locomotives, and called it a tribute. The men who ran those engines in their real colors, some of them were still alive when the heritage units rolled out, sat in their living rooms watching the news and saw a fake Black Widow scheme on a brand new yellow locomotive with the Union Pacific shield on the side. Then read in the trade press that the company had reduced the lead content in Armour Yellow paint in the mid-1980s because the original chrome yellow had too many heavy metals to be legal anymore. The color you grew up watching wasn't even the same color now. By 2017, the Heritage Fleet stopped running, sat in the Cheyenne Roundhouse. Most haven't moved since. So here is what you actually see when you walk into a rail yard west of the Mississippi. Armour Yellow, Harbor Mist Gray, a red, white, and blue Union Pacific shield, the flag on the nose, the slogan Building America right under it. And that's true. They are still building. Just nothing of what came before. Bud worked the Cotton Belt for 31 years before Southern Pacific took it. Then Union Pacific took Southern Pacific. He'll tell you the same thing every retired railroader from El Paso to Omaha will tell you if you ask. The names mattered. The colors mattered. The herald on the boxcar mattered. They weren't just paint. They were the thing you put your wedding ring on the line for. The thing you froze for. The thing you missed your kid's birthday for. The thing you bled for when the snow came down sideways at Donner. Union Pacific erased 6 of them in 14 years. Then they painted 6 locomotives yellow underneath fake heritage colors and called it respect. Yellow doesn't remember anything. Only men do.